Hey guys, it's Monica at Academic Phoenix Plus, and welcome back to a tutorial on using Substance Painter. So we started off with modeling Korra. She is already UV mapped, and now she is going to be exported into Substance Painters to create her textures. It's a very exciting part of the 3D pipeline, and I am excited to show you. If you are new to this channel, I post tutorials on a weekly basis. Software includes Maya, ZBrush, and Substance Painter. So if that is your sort of thing, please consider subscribing. So bring out that creativity, open up that software, and let's go ahead and get started in texturing Korra, the Last Airbender. Okay, so I have two groups right now. My first one is my low poly version, and this is what she actually looks like. So make sure that you select your model person number 1. This is actually the low poly version. So it's really important to remember the low poly versus the high poly. So for this one, if I press the number 3 in Arnold, she's going to look high poly, but the reality is that if I export her, she's going to look like this in Substance. So what I did, I'm going to hide this one and bring this one up with Control H and then Shift H, is I smoothed her so that she looks nice and smooth when she goes into Substance Painter. Now, to get her ready for Substance Painter, you have to smooth her, duplicate her and smooth her. And then the next part is to figure out what shaders do you want to have separated. So for example, I'm going to go over here to my UV editing. So if I want her clothes or this body to have its own texture map, I should assign a separate shader. So Substance Painter will be able to read it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and assign new material. I'm going to choose an Arnold standard surface. I'm going to scrub all the way to the right, and this is going to be the body shader. Next is going to be her face, and I do have space for all her hair. So I'm going to grab her hair and then deselect her eyes and everything. And you can see that I have some extra pieces that are not supposed to be there. So let me go ahead and deselect the decorations for her hair, because that's going to be added in with her other accessories. So let me go ahead and turn that off. And I mean, there's room, definitely have some 0 to 1 space that I could probably add, but I think that's good. Let's go ahead and assign a new material. And Arnold, AI standard surface. And this is going to be her head hair shader. After that, I'm going to grab all her accessories. So again, I'm going to select everything and then start deselecting. So for example, I don't need her body. I definitely don't need her face. I don't need her hair. This part right here, and don't need her hair. I think I missed the eyebrows. I better put those back. But basically, this is the accessories. All right, assign a new material. This is going to be my accessory shader. Her eye should have her own shader. So again, assign a new material. I have my own eyes, to be fair, but I want them separated. So let's go ahead and separate them into the eye shader. And then just to make sure everything's on the same page, I'm going to delete the history, freeze the transformations, all that. And I'm going to just slightly change the colors just to make sure that I have everything in its correct shader. So it's going to look a little weird, but I'm just trying to make sure that everything has a shader. Let's choose green for this one. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything like that one. That one is for the accessory. So let me go ahead and do an existing material. Man, I got to clear this. Actually, let me show you how to clear that. So in the hypershape up here, there is a teal circle with a white circle in it. And if I go to edit, delete unused nodes, it clears everything that I'm not using, which is ideal. It cleans up my hypershade and all my shaders. So let's go to right click, assign existing material. And this is my accessory shader. And the eyes have a separate one. And I think that is everything. We'll find out very quickly if it's not. All right, let's select our model. Let's go to File, Export Selection. And I'm going to choose an OBJ. I like to put them in assets. So I'm going to call this my OBJ. You could do FBX if you want to as well. It should read it. This is going to be Korra UV. All right, let's hop into Substance Painter. All right, Substance Painter. Let's go ahead and close this window. We're going to go to File, New. We're going to choose the PBR Metallic Roughness. Let's select. I'm going to go to my character Korra, my assets, my OBJ, and there she is. I'm going to increase my document resolutions to 2K because my computer can handle it, and then click OK. And there she is. So the reason why we did all those shaders, now we can see why, is because it splits them over here. Even though I labeled them, they still lose their names here. As you can see, we have SG nodes, but this will be the body. This will be the head hair. This will be the accessories. All that extra space. And then we have the eyes. All right, now that everything is labeled, let's go ahead, and the first thing we want to do is bake our textures. So over here to the right, we have layers, and then we have texture sets, settings, scroll down. We're going to go to bake mesh maps, click on that. And this is the new Substance Painter version. I'm going to go ahead and increase my resolution to 2048. I'm going to go through here and basically go to no ID map, going to turn it off. Ambient, I'm going to crank that up. Curvature, I'm going to crank it all up. So the secondary rays are now at 256. Position is fine. Secondary rays, crank that up. So that's going to give me the highest quality maps. And then I actually really like watching this part because it's baking all the maps based on my model. And it does occlusion, it does curvature, it does position, it does thickness, and it takes all of this information. And that's what drives the textures in Substance Painter. So it's really fascinating to watch. All right. It's done. Let's take a look. Let's return back to painting mode over here to the bottom right. And it doesn't look much has happened, but you can see that it's got a little bit of an occlusion. I know the eyes can be a little creepy, but I've got another set of eyes, so I'm not too worried. All right, let's go to the smart material. And the first thing I like to do is do skin. So type in skin, and you'll notice that we have a skin face, which I can grab and drag. And you'll notice that it will, A, put it in the hair, which I'm going to remove, but B, you'll see that it adds some roughness around the ears, the eyes, and the mouth and the nose, which is really a nice touch. I'm going to definitely do more for the face, but this is a good place to start to at least make her look a little bit more alive. I don't want her hair to have this, so I'm going to go back into my layers, and I'm going to right-click on my layer and click on a black mask. And what I can do is start painting the face if I wanted to. But you can see that it can be a little bit inaccurate because it sometimes starts painting the hair. So I'm going to go over here to the left, and I'm clicking on this button, which will give me access to a fill mode that uses polygons or UV shells. So I'm going to use UV shells. So if I click on a shell, it pops up. Let's see. I think these are the eyes, which I'm going to go ahead and do. And then these are the ears. Cover those two. And I think that's the inside of her mouth. So I might as well have that too. All right. So let me go ahead and go to the body and do the same thing. I'm going to grab the skin face and drag it into her body. And just like before, it adds it everywhere. So I need to go ahead and add a black mask. And oh yeah, I did. Ha. So lucky for me, I actually separated the UVs. So the shell, and that made it really easy. So now she already starting to look a little bit alive, which is exciting, except for her zombie eyes. Let's talk about her clothes. Since we're in the body, let's talk about what exactly we can use for clothes. So we can type in fabric. And if I'm going a little too fast, I would suggest that you take a look at some of my earlier tutorials of Substance Painter. I go over how to bake, what it means, and I go a lot slower. I assume that you've seen those and you understand Substance Painter, but I'll leave a link above and below. If you're totally lost, you can actually watch those and understand what you're doing. So going back, we're going to type in fabric, and there's a variety of fabrics, so we can choose what type of fabric this character has. Now you'll notice that, it depends what she kind of looks like. Obviously plaid's not the way to go, but it depends what type of material. Now she is a 2D character, so we have to kind of guess what her texture is going to look like. That's cool. So neat. There's some really fun materials here, but it's, it's up to you what material she has. And then we can always change the color. Right. So let me go back. And I kind of like this pattern, but I definitely need to make some adjustments. So first I'm going to drag this layer below the skin. So the neck shows up, and then I can open up this folder and start messing around. So usually the color is all the way at the bottom, which is the base. So this is where I can go in and change the color. Now I can eyeball it to Korra's color, or I can use a reference. So this is her character sheet. These are the colors that I'm trying to go for. So I'm going to move this to up here, move this to the side. And what I can do is grab this little eyedropper and then click on the color. And it looks really, really light. But that's because there's a secondary pattern to it. So if I start hiding things, you're going to see that a lot of these patterns have color as well. But that's the idea. If you feel like it's doesn't really match, you can always, of course, change the color. So I might go a little darker. Then I'm going to go in here and do the same thing. I'm going to look for, okay, that one doesn't have color. It's got a height. Let's go to this one. This one has a base color, right? So if I hide it, that's what makes it blue. So I might click on this. Again, I'm going to grab my dropper, click on this. Theoretically, that's the color from the show. So again, I'm not a fan of it. So I might go in and make it a little darker. And I feel like this one needs to be like this color a little bit. Oop, maybe darker. Whoop, too dark. So you just kind of play with the colors until you feel like it's accurate. All right. So now that we have the basic colors, there's other things we can do to make this look a little better. For example, maybe we think the pattern is too big. So I'm going to go here, click on the mask, and you can see that we have a variety of things. And I'm going to move this up a little bit since I have space. Sweep. And then scroll down. And that's the brush. And usually I try to look around to see if there's anything in here that I can manipulate, which I really don't other than hardness. Let's take a look at levels. So levels manipulates and then you have the fill. So let's see what happens so you can see that I can grab this and manipulate the pattern a little bit more. So maybe I can make it a little smaller or bigger, depending on what you're trying to go for. We also have fibers here. So same story, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to look in my attributes to see if there's anything I can do to manipulate it. So all of that is the brush. So this is warp, so I can increase the warpness, which doesn't seem to do much. And we do have directional, so we could change things around. Again, I don't see too much of a difference, but that's how you test it out. You just kind of mess around until you find something that works. Anisotropy, this one's got a scale, so there you go. We can scale this a little smaller. And then looks like there's an anisotropy this way too, so I can scale this one as well. So yeah, cool. I kind of like it. Moving up, we got folds, which I like. Again, you can always go into the folds and maybe increase the contrast, or you can, kind of manipulate the balance. There are some noise parameters. So if you want to increase the scale, you can really go bananas. Might add a little bit, and then the disorder. It's amazing. I'm starting to feel like it's a little high, so I'm going to reduce the contrast and reduce the balance to kind of calm it down a little bit. There is a blur. So if you want to go in and just kind of blur the intensity so it's not so intense, then you can. Cool. But it's nice to see those wrinkles. It adds to it. We have some dust. And we have some sharpen. And of course, the color itself. So that's a good place to start. There it is. It's the edge folds that I'm kind of like trying to figure out what that is. So we've got edges. Gonna soften it a little bit more. They have a blur. So I'm going to go in and just blur it a little bit more just because I do like it, but it's a little intense. All right, cool. Yeah, there's a line right through the middle that I'm not convinced with. So let me change the scale a little bit. There we go. Just change it a little bit. And you can continue manipulating it to your heart's content. And of course, you can reduce it. So that's a really nice start. I'm going to use the same material for the pants. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. And I am going to type in top at the beginning, duplicate this, and these are going to be the pants. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to scroll down to the base. And again, I'm going to grab the base, click on this, and then grab the color of the pants. And you can see that it completely takes it over. So we're going to add a black mask. Choose a black mask. So let's go ahead and grab the tool again. And I've got the UV shells, and I'm going to select this one and this one. I am going to grab faces because I want this portion to have it. Now, notice that I messed up over here. That's okay. I'm going to hit X on my keyboard, which flips it to black, and then pink. That makes it go away. Cool. really quickly, we can get some really nice colors. Let's bring back her skin tone. So I'm going to go back to skin since I'm here, and using the UVs, and I'm also in white, I can go ahead and add the arms back. Yay, so easy. It's so much fun and so easy. All right, so I'm going to do the base and then start adding details later. All right, let's go to the accessories. So the accessories have a similar dark color. Now, I've been trying to figure out what material this is, right? Is this cloth? Is this something hard? I'm not sure. I think it might be fabric. Not 100% sure. So it's up to you how you want to design it, but I am going to be using the similar materials because I assumed because she's from a village that she's going to be using similar materials. So I'm going to copy the pants. I'm going to go to the accessories and paste. So Control C, Control V. It already has a black mask added to it, which is fine. So now I get to add it in. So right now I'm in white and I can select that or the model. So I'm going to select the model. You can click it on the 2D mode or you can click it in the UV. So either way works. Again, I'm just going to start with the basics and then add more detail later. All right, that is good. This one is like a light blue. So I'm going to call this I'm just going to call it forearm for now. Okay, duplicate this again. I'm going to right click and clear the mask. Grab the mask and grab the selection tool. Again, I have the model. I'm going to use this one. But my color is going to be a lot lighter. So let me go to the base. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to select that color. So it's in the middle of like a dark gray blue. So it's not super dark. It's not super light, somewhere in the middle. So, okay, there we go. Okay, relabeling it. All right, cool. It's looking fun. She's looking like Korra. Next, leather. Let's see what type of leather we have. Right, so I'm working on this bottom portion right here. We have numerous types of leather. You can choose whichever you like. I'm looking for a little bit more, that one's stylized, which I kind of like. And then we do have weathered leather. Well, that's a little too much weathered. Let's do this one. Whoa. So it's really fun to see all the leather choices. I kind of like that one. I like that it's a little messy. Or maybe it's better to be cleaner, do a clean version of Korra, or one that's seen stuff. I think this is too rough. I can always add more roughness. I'm going to stick to this one, but it's too light. So I'm going to scroll down to the base color. Again, click on the little eyedropper and select a color. And you can change it if you want to, but I think I'm okay with that. I'm going to add a black mask. And just like always, grab this. And I have a model. So I'm going to click on this one. And I think that's the only leather other than her boots. So let me click on the boots. There we go. Now her belt is in fact which color is it? It looks like the gray color. So it's the armband color. So I'm going to grab the mask and I'm going to click on these models. There we go. And I think that covers most of her. Might go a little darker in this one. Let me open this one up. And just go a tiny little bit darker, just so we can really see the difference. Okay. We do have darker leather around here, and since I already have leather, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. Go to the base and make it darker. It's pretty dark, actually. And I really just need this portion here. I'm going to clear my mask. And then this one, let's see if I can grab faces. Let's see if it will let me. It's going to be kind of challenging. All right, let's see if I can do it. It's going to be very, very carefully selecting these faces. So I'm starting to get to the smaller details now. It's so fun. Substance painting is great. All right, there we go. There we go. Whoa, too much. It's okay. I can always click X and bring that back. Hit X again, and we are now back in white. So remember, white you can see the texture, black you can't see, just like in Photoshop and everything else. Okay, did I get that okay? Let's look around. Let me select some faces here. Oops, X. Uh-oh. Okay, just makes it easy. Oh, where's the other one? Oh, there it is. Grab all of this, and then we'll do it. But I might just stick to the UVs. Up here at the top, we have 2D only, and then I could just kind of focus on that. You can always grab a brush too. Get a small brush and paint it if you think that's easier. Might be easier at first, and then I have to go in to make sure that I don't accidentally select the bottom faces. It's really fast, isn't it? The Substance Painter is fast. At least it's a good place to start, and then you have to start getting into the weeds. All right, let me go back to this one and click X, and I'll just clear the ones that I accidentally painted. I think it's all right. All right, let's go back up here to 3D, 2D and see if that looks okay. All right, there she is. Let me work on these accessories. We have dark leather, light leather, arm fabric, forearm. Looks like the arm fabric is also part of this. So I'm gonna grab the tool, the black mask. Then you grab this tool. I've got the model, and I'm just gonna click on the model. Bink, really quick. And then this one too. And then comes her hair. So I'm just going to do a quick base hair because there isn't really hair in here, nor is there fur or anything associated to it. So usually what I do is I have to make my own. So I'm going to create a new fill layer. And I don't need emissiveness. I don't need metalness for sure. But I'm going to go ahead and click on this eyedropper and get the color of her hair. She's got pretty dark hair. Whoop, that looks still actually looks black. And let me see if I can get a lighter version of that hair. She is pretty dark. Her hair is pretty dark, but I might lighten it to make it look a little bit more dark brown. And of course, she looks super creepy. And just to have something for her eyes, let me add a new layer. Let me choose her eye color. And she looks creepier than ever. Actually, maybe with emission, I can make it look interesting. Let's see. Make her eyes glow. There you go. Like in the show, her eyes start to glow. Ooh. I don't know if I like it. I'm going to get rid of it. Okay, let's see. Emission, get rid of. Opacity, normal. I don't need metalness. Let's add a black mask. I'm going to grab a basic hard brush. Make it small. Something like that. Then I'm going to duplicate this. Change the color to black. Clear the mask. Just get anime eyes. And while I'm doing this, I might as well make it look like she's got anime eyes. Let me add white. Clear the mask. Actually, she's got a pretty big white dot right there. And maybe I'll add a couple more. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to do a soft brush. Cool. There she is. At least the foundations. We still have a lot to go, but we're definitely getting there. Let me just show 3D only. Let me rough up her hair a little bit. Sorry, I'm getting into the weeds here. Let me see. Let me get the hair and let me just rough it up a little bit so it's not so obvious. And then with her eyes, I definitely want it to be less rough. There's a lot more I can do with the eyes for sure, but at least she looks alive. So, ta-da, ta-da. She, again, as I mentioned, we got lots of detailing to do, but this is the foundation and the base of Korra from the Legend of Korra. I personally love creating all the UVs and everything. It takes work, but so this is definitely the fun part of the creative process in 3D. So hopefully you learned a thing or two. If you did, please like and subscribe. That is your message to me, letting me know that you like this content and that you want to see more. And of course, leave a comment. I can't get to the comments all the time, but I do read them and I really appreciate it because it gives me feedback on videos and how everything is going. So thank you again for watching. I'm truly grateful. Don't forget to take a look at academicphoenixplus.com. There you can find free tutorials, ebooks, 3D models, and so much more. So take a look at academicphoenixplus.com. Again, thank you so much for watching. Keep creating, and I will see you next time as we start decorating Korra even more.